war of words, like we told you, between Donald Trump and top Russian official Dmitry Medvedev has ignited Cold War fears and nuclear threats as well. To discuss this, I've been joined by Professor Anshu Joshi, School of International Studies, JNU. A very warm welcome to the broadcast, ma'am. It's not a very common thing to see a social media spat triggering nuclear threats, or is it?
Indeed, and I don't understand why it is coming from the head of one of the most powerful nations in the world. As in, we have seen that this threat of deploying nuclear-capable submarines to contain Russian, issues has come from Donald Trump, and he has said that he has deployed nuclear-capable submarines to give a befitting response to a threatening tweet by the former president of Russia, suggesting that he would be ready to launch a nuclear strike as tensions rise over war in Ukraine. So, generally such kind of statements are given in the light of expected or well-calculated repercussions also, and this will further escalate the tensions not only between Russia and Ukraine, but between NATO, empowered by United States of America, and Russia. So certainly such statements from Donald Trump do not look to be very responsible at the moment.
Definitely. Ma'am, earlier Trump has issued a deadline of 50 days to Russia to take out a solution, as far as the Russia-Ukraine conflict is concerned. And later he cut the number of days. Now this so-called nuclear threat, which Trump has issued. How do you see this entire picture in front of the world? What does your analysis say on this? Is it actually creating any impact on Russia?
See, we have to add the other developments that are happening in global politics because of Trump also. So we should see how Trump has in past few days made provocative, not only provocative statements, but also has come up with an executive order of imposing very high tariff on countries like India, and he has reduced tariffs from Pakistan. This will again change geopolitics not only of Asian region, but also of global politics by and large. On the other hand, he has called Indian economy a dead economy. He has called trade and tariff barriers of India as obnoxious, and now this statement with respect to Russia. So we have to link together all the elements, and we should see that how he is looking at global politics at the moment, and why he is giving such kind of statements. So I think that to maintain a control not only on by and large global affairs, but what is happening in West Asian region, what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, and then he also looks at Russia not only from this war's perspective, he also brings in the element of China into it. And that is why we have seen that first he threatened Russia to impose sanctions, and he also threatened Russia as in, he would be taking another step towards escalated conflict directly between the two nations, or NATO versus Russia. And at the same time, now he has come up with this social media post wherein he has threatened Russia of deploying the submarine, though he has not made it very clear whether it is nuclear-powered submarine or nuclear-armed submarine, because that also makes a difference.
Yeah.
So all in all, we can see that Trump is baffled at the moment, and he's just trying to generate, a situation of confusion among nations as well as leaders.
Okay, so you're trying to say that this is not in fact a warning issued by Donald Trump. This is confusion being created by the US president.
We have seen that how US president is giving statements every day, then he takes a U-turn, and he also then adds frills to those statements. So we have seen in past couple of months during his second tenure how he made first promises or came up with executive orders, then he took a U-turn, especially when we look from this his tariff announcements perspective. So here also, and then we have also seen that all of a sudden then we saw that how US attacked Iran. I mean, initially there were the heated talks and statements from all the sides involved in not only Israel Hamas conflict, but what was happening between Israel and Iran. There were alarms raised by IAEA, and after that we saw that how US jumped into it. Here also I think that at the moment he is trying to threaten Russia, but Russia is also not taking it very seriously. You see the kind of statements given by Putin or Russian officials. So I think that at the moment nobody is taking his threats very seriously.
Ma'am, you talked about US and NATO. I want to ask you on that. On one hand, there are talks happening to stop the conflict, and on the other hand, a novel approach is being worked upon by US and NATO to supply Ukraine with weapons. What do you make out of it?
That's a very good question, and I wanted to speak on this aspect as well. See, war has its own economy and its own market, and we know how United States of America has successfully positioned itself as like the #1 arms seller and equipment provider in the world. And through NATO, it keeps, I would not say bullying, but it keeps pressurizing the member nations to buy equipment and arms from United States of America. So we have to make a note of this thing, that whatever is being given to Ukraine in the name of helping Ukraine against Russia, we should know that it's all it is something which will be taken back from Ukraine or to the countries which are like supporting Ukraine at the moment. And within NATO, now there seems to be 3 camps. There is one camp, leaders who are standing with Trump. There is another camp which vehemently opposes now whatever is happening between NATO or United States of America and Ukraine, and they want this war to be stopped now because they have seen a brunt on their economies. And there is third camp, all those, East European countries who have become part of NATO, but they are unable to now, increase their portion of budget allocated towards defense and security. They don't want to buy further arms from United States of America. So that has also sparked another kind of debate. So this is another whole issue, another dimension to be discussed, that in the name of helping Ukraine, what is happening actually within NATO.
Okay. But ma'am, is it that easy to reposition nuke submarines? Their movements are among the Pentagon's most closely held tactical maneuvers.
Definitely, and this is how the world, or for that matter, Russian officials are taking Trump's, statements, and that is what he has said. First, we should look at that. He has said that he has ordered for 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned at an appropriate place, at an appropriate base or region, but he has not specified the location for now. And then he has said that,
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you here, but I think it's quite obvious that US will never tell the position of their submarines.
That is true, but also with that, there are some speculations that are made by experts, and they also weigh the words or the statements made by a leader. So the kind of statements or the social post that has been like posted by Trump is taken into this slide at the moment, because he has also not specified whether the submarines are nuclear powered or nuclear armed.
Yeah.
Because if they are nuclear armed submarines, then definitely it would not only create or it would escalate the tensions further, but then it would be an alarming situation for Russia.
Okay, very quickly I want to ask you, how do you conclude this entire situation which is there in front of us right now, with Donald Trump's nuclear threats and Russia's no response at the same time?
I would say that Trump has opened another theater of discussions, not discussions, but like further, escalatory actions towards whatever is already happening between Russia and Ukraine, and indirectly whatever is happening between Russia and NATO. And definitely whatever Trump is saying, we can see at the moment Russia has not come up with any kind of response. So that speaks a volume, and we should wait and we should see that how Russia responds to these threats of Trump.
All right.
That's all I have to say.
All right. Only time will tell what will happen in this particular scenario. But thank you so much, ma'am, for joining in on the broadcast today. Thank you.